Lena Harper was tired of sleeping in her car. The back seat of A09 Civic wasn't meant for people over 5 feet tall. But with student loans, 3 job rejections in a row, and a broken-off engagement, she didn't talk about her life had become a stitched-together survival plan. So when she saw the Craigslist ad, it felt like a miracle. Roomy 1-bedroom, Manhattan adjacent, $850 a month. Historic building. No roommates. No pets. No nonsense. It sounded fake. But she called anyway. The voice on the other end was smooth, polite, older. Unit 5B is available, he said. Clean, quiet, perfect for a girl like you. Just one rule, he added after a pause. Don't disturb the tenant in 4B. The building was older than it looked online. 6 stories tall, grey brick, a rusted fire escape curling up the side like a spine. Inside, the hallway smelled like lemons and mildew. Apartment 5B was at the end. The door opened easily, key already in the knob. It was perfect. Old hardwood floors, big windows with city views, and just enough creaks to feel lived in. There was only one weird thing. The vent in the bedroom wall faced directly downward, not across, not out, straight down into apartment for B. And that night, through that vent, Lena heard music. Not loud, soft, sad, careful. She smiled. It was almost comforting, until a voice, male, whispering from the vent. Do you like it, Lena? Her smile froze. She turned off her lamp, listened harder. Silence? Maybe she imagined it. Maybe it was just the pipes, new apartment nerves. But as she drifted off to sleep, the voice came again. You shouldn't have come here. The next morning, she confronted the landlord, Mr. Ames. He was tall, pale, and always wore gloves. The man in 4B, she said. I heard him playing piano. Ames blinked slowly. Miss Harper for B has been vacant for years. No. I heard he raised a hand. Calm/stern. There is no one below you. Do not go near that door. Not unless you want to end up like the last tenant. That night, Lena checked again. She knocked on the floor. Nothing. But at 1:14 a.m., the piano began again. This time, a different song. Slower. Off-key. Then the voice again, through the vent. You remind me of her. She screamed louder. Lena grabbed her phone. Started recording. The voice continued. She came down to see me. Now she's part of the floor. The audio file saved. She played it back. Only static. By the third night, curiosity overpowered fear. She crept down the stairs. Floor felt wrong, colder, dimmer. Apartment 4B. Had no number on the door. Just deep scratch marks where the metal used to be. She knocked once. No answer. She placed her ear to the wood. Knock, 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 knock. From the inside, then the door whispered, Come in, Lena. She ran. Back in her room, she opened the hallway closet for a blanket. Instead, she found a shoebox, full of old Polaroid photos, all the same angle. From the floor vent, looking up, at the bed, at the person sleeping in it. Every tenant who had lived in 5B. All asleep, all unaware. The last photo was of Lena, taken the night before. The next morning, her mirror was fogged. She hadn't used the shower. Wiped clean in the fog, a message, you are leaned too close. Now he sees you. Lena stepped back. Her phone buzzed. New message. No number, just an image. It was her lying in bed, taken from under the mattress. She dropped the phone. And from the vent, once more. Night 5 is coming. That's when the walls open. The morning after Lena found the Polaroid, she couldn't stop checking her phone. No new messages. No creepy images. No evidence the last one had ever existed. She had smashed her SIM card, changed her lock screen, deleted all unknown contacts. But one thing remained. The vent. Silent, now. But still there, like a mouth in the wall. Whiting Lena tried to distract herself. She applied to jobs, cooked, cleaned, read old books she didn't remember owning. But something strange kept happening. She would blink, and 3 hours would pass. She'd be on the floor, or staring at the vent, or waking up to find our door wide open, though she'd locked it. One day, she found a half-eaten sandwich on her nightstand. She doesn't eat sandwiches. On the 4th night, she heard someone knock next door, Unit 5C. A girl answered. Mid-30s blonde, tired eyes. You're new here, the girl said. I'm Rachel. Hey. The guy in 4B. Rachel's face changed. Pale, distant. Don't talk about him, she whispered. He's not a guy. You mean he's a ghost? Lena joked nervously. Rachel didn't laugh. She leaned in, eyes trembling. I lived in 4B once, but it's been empty. Rachel shook her head. He doesn't live there. He is there. That night, Lena couldn't sleep. She turned on her laptop and found a new folder. She hadn't created it. For B_FEED, all labeled bedcam_1, vent_cam_2, living room_cam_3. She clicked 1. The screen showed her sleeping for 4 hours straight. Then, at 2:33 a.m., the blankets slowly lifted. A hand gray thin, long-fingered reached from under the bed, paused, then the next morning, Lena rushed to Rachel's door. Knocked. No answer. She called the building manager. He was confused. There's no one in 5C, he said. That unit's sealed. No, I just talked to that tenant, disappeared 6 months ago. That night, Lena heard the whisper again, but it wasn't a man's voice anymore. It was hers. From the vent. Come down, Lena. You're already halfway here. Then the piano started again, but this time, it wasn't music. It was Morse code. She Googled frantically, translated the rhythm. The message was just one word. She went into the closet again. Same shoebox. Same photos. But now, something new was there. A small painting. Childlike brushstrokes. Red, black, gray. It was of her standing over the vent, her mouth open, but no eyes. Underneath, written in the same red paint. You can't leave if you're not whole. It was the 5th night. The night Rachel warned her about. The night the walls would open. Lena stayed awake, flashlight in hand, phone recording. At exactly 3 a.m., the floor beneath her bed creaked. Not from pressure, but like it was breathing. Then every wall in her apartment began to bulge outward, like something inside was pushing to get out. And from the vent, clear as day, you invited me in. Now I'll show you what you forgot. She passed out. When she woke, she was in a bathtub, fully clothed, wet, shivering, carved into her forearm. Look under the bed. She crawled to the bedroom, lifted the frame. Beneath it, a photo of her as a child, standing outside 311 Elridge, the building. She was smiling, holding someone's hand. The man next to her, the tenant from 4B. But the photo was dated 1995. And Lena was only born in 2001. The photograph didn't lie. Lena stared at it for hours. She was 6 years too young to exist in that picture. And yet there she was, holding the hand of a man the world insisted didn't exist. The man from apartment for B. And that meant one thing. She had been here before. That night, Lena dreamt of yellow walls and humming. In her dream, she was small, wearing a blue jacket, running down a hallway with peeling wallpaper, laughing. Someone was chasing her, not in anger, but in sadness. You left me, the voice said. But I never left you. When she woke up, her room smelled like old perfume and copper, and carved into her nightstand. You came from below. You just forgot. She spent the day at City Records. Most of the documents were dusty and half-burnt, but buried under an old blueprint for 311 Elridge Street. She found something odd. A floor plan from 1972. Floor 4 wasn't listed. In red ink, someone had scribbled, "For B is not a floor. For B is a function." Lena returned home, set up a voice recorder by the vent. She asked questions aloud, like a seance. Who are you? Why me? What is apartment 4B? Silence. But at 3:03 a.m., you knew me. You chose to forget. But forgetting isn't leaving. She opened the vent. You closed the door. Then a sound, a child's laughter, and a woman screaming. The next night, Lena noticed something wrong with her bathroom mirror. The reflection showed her room. But not as it was now. It showed her as a child, same blue jacket, standing in a room covered in red handprints. She turned away, turned back. Now her reflection was smiling. She wasn't. At the corner of the mirror, a word formed in condensation. Come. She smashed the mirror. Behind it, a door, old, wooden, hinges rusted. Behind it, a spiral staircase going down, much deeper than 4 floors. The walls were breathing. Every step echoed with a sound like heartbeat. As she descended, the air grew warmer, wet, rotten. At the bottom, a door labeled for B. The real 4B. A whisper from behind her. It's your room, Lena. Always has been. Inside was a child's room, dusty, time-warped, but familiar. Her name was carved into the wall, over and over. Lena, 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 Lena. Toys. Clothes. A photo of her and the man again, this time with a label. Me and Daddy, 1995. She fell to her knees. Her father, the man in 4B, he didn't haunt the building, he had been buried in it when it burned, and her mind chose to forget until she came back. A figure stood in the corner, motionless, shadowed. Lena whispered, "Dad." The figure moved. Long arms, no eyes, not quite human anymore, but the voice. "You promised you'd never leave." I waited, I rotted, I became the walls. "Now I just want you to stay." She backed away. I was 6, I didn't know. The figure stepped closer. "Then, give me back the rest of you. Stay, remember, become whole." Lena ran back up the spiral staircase, past the breathing walls, through the broken mirror, back to her room. She slammed the bathroom door shut. Her reflection now showed nothing, just darkness. But in the glass, a voice whispered, "You left the door open, Lena. Someone else is already climbing through." She turned and saw her own face staring at her from the vent, smiling. Lena didn't sleep after seeing her own face in the vent. Not truly. She closed her eyes, but she didn't dream. She blinked, and time passed, but not the way it should have. She wasn't sure if she was in her bed or back in the room below the mirror. Reality was beginning to bend, and the building was breathing louder. The next morning, cracks had appeared in every corner of her apartment, tiny, jagged lines running along the ceiling. The paint peeled in strips that resembled fingerprints. The floorboards began to warp upward, like something underneath was pushing. Her phone was dead, Wi-Fi gone. Electricity flickered every 5 minutes, but the piano still played. Softer, closer, no longer from 4B. In the mirror, Lena saw herself as a child again. But this time, the child was crying and whispering. "He's not trying to hurt you. He's trying to finish the story." "What story?" Lena whispered. The child pointed to the closet. Inside, behind the shoebox, a journal, small, red, with her name on the front. Inside were pages written in shaky, childlike handwriting. "Daddy played the piano even after he died. They put him in the floor, but he didn't go away. I told them I didn't remember, and then they made me forget. Now he's stuck. I'm stuck." Lena's hands trembled as she flipped the last page. "The final floor isn't below. It's inside. If I go down one last time, I can let us all out." That night, the building moaned. Literally. Lena stepped into her hallway, and the walls moved. Not just cracked, not just shifted and moved like muscle. Doors opened on their own, and from the stairwell came a red light, seeping upward. The entire building had become a lung, inhaling her memories, exhaling illusion. From down below came a voice. "Lena, the floor is ready. Come see the end." She followed, down the spiral staircase again, but this time, there was no end. Just falling. No steps. No sound. Just light and wind and screaming metal. She hit the bottom and landed in her childhood bedroom, perfect, frozen in time. And in the center, a man sat at a grand piano, face obscured, fingers long, bone thin, playing a lullaby. She stepped closer. The man stopped playing, slowly turned. His face was hers, but older, male, empty. "You buried me," the figure said. "In memory. In silence. You split me apart. You're not real," she whispered. "I am what you left behind. I am your father, and I am you." The walls flickered. She was no longer Lena Harper, 23, tenant of 5B. She was the 6-year-old girl, hiding under the bed, watching the fire take her father away. And the landlord's voice from long ago. "She forget it all. Just sign here. We'll give her a new name." The figure held out a hand. "End it. Stay with me in the floor, or go, and let another take your place." Behind her, the mirror formed again, a portal back to her apartment, to her life, to forgetting. Lena looked at her child self in the corner. "If I stay, will she remember?" "Only if you become whole again." She looked at the piano, the fire, the door, and stepped forward. 311 Elridge Street was condemned and scheduled for demolition. Every tenant was gone, except one. The new building manager, reviewing the file, paused on a strange note. 5B, Vacant. Key returned. No record of a Lena Harper in tenant history. For B. Sealed. Do not disturb. Do not let her out again. That night, a Craigslist ad went up. Room for RENT. 1 bedroom. $850. Mo safe. Quiet. No roommates. Just one rule. Don't open the mirror.